What's going on, folks, and welcome back to the channel. And season is upon us. I know that early goose season and early teal is in for a lot of you. It's not quite in here yet. Still got a few more days. It'll be coming in this upcoming weekend for us here in the South, and man, I am pumped. It's going to be the first time I've been able to hunt the first 4 or 5 days of season due to my work schedule. So really looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll be a good opening weekend and opening first few days. I'm getting reports that there are a few birds in the area, so hopefully we'll have some luck. But that is not what today's video is about. As a waterfowl hunter, like most of you, you know you have to watch the weather. Weather is key to waterfowl movement, migration, and all of that. But the biggest thing about weather is you don't really have to watch it in your area. Like me, I'm in the deep South, so it doesn't matter what the weather's doing here. What I need to know is what's going on in the northern part of the country, Canada, the Dakotas, the Midwest, what the fronts are doing to push birds down here to where I'm at. And as some of you may know, if you keep up with the weather like I do, the last few years we have been in a La Nina. And this year we are in an El Nino, so we've got a major shift in our weather pattern happening right now, and going to continue to be that way throughout the remainder of the year and into next year. So with that being said, let's go into what the weather forecast is predicting for this winter, as well as what that's going to mean for our migration this year. So let's dive in. So before we get into the weather forecast and what I believe our migration should look like this upcoming season, let me say this: I am not a meteorologist, all right? I am not a weatherman. I did not create these models. I actually got these models off of another YouTube channel. It's a weather channel that I watch where they are meteorologists and weather people. And I will drop the link to the video in the description, and I'll try to put it in the comments below too. That way it'll make it easier for some people or everyone to click on, and you can go and watch this video that I watched for yourself, and maybe you can get a better understanding of what I'm talking about here, because I am not a weatherman, but all I got is the data they put out and the models they put out, and if they prove to be true, we're looking at a really good winter and a really good migration, in my opinion. So let's dive into these models. Alright, so the winter forecast 2023-2024 precipitation anomalies. We're looking at below average precipitation and rainfall for a lot of the Pacific Northwest and then the upper Midwest area. We're talking Montana, North Dakota, those areas. You know, it Washington, Oregon. It's looking like it's going to be pretty dry. Now that's not saying any particular time frame in the winter. It's not saying the early part, the mid part, or the end. That's just overall precipitation anomalies for the winter. It's looking like it's going to be below average for the Pacific Northwest and the upper part of the Midwest. Now, if you look down there around California, the lower part of Nevada, Arizona, look at there. It's they're saying above average. They're calling for some rain right there, and that is because the jet stream shifts in a El Nino type weather pattern, which is what we're in. It kind of makes a high hump right there where it says above average, and it's going to swoop down, and then it's going to curve back up across the eastern seaboard and the southern states. So that's why you're showing that moisture over there in the southern part of California, as well as down around the southern states and up the eastern seaboard. So looking like it's going to be a little wet down here for us in the south and up the eastern seaboard, which I'm down in Alabama, most of you know. So looking like it's going to be a little wet for us, and that's all right. We've been experiencing a drought just like a lot of the rest of the country has, so we'll take the rain. As for you guys across the central part of the nation, you know, we're talking Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Ohio, all through there, the northern part of Texas, most of Oklahoma. It doesn't really show what you guys would be experiencing, so I would say you'd probably be somewhere in the middle if I had to guess. I'm not a meteorologist, but it looks like you're going to be probably just, you know, an average type precipitation. Okay, now for the first part of the winter, You know, that's going to be starting probably sometime around the end of November on into your first part of December. We're looking at below average temperatures for most of the country. You know, the entire Midwest, it looks like, all the way to the eastern seaboard. Everything is going to be below average. So that's really good. That's a good way to kick it off, you know, before old man winter really kicks in. You guys out on the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, looks like you're possibly going to be a little warm this year. I've never been out to that area before, so I really don't know what a typical winter is like out there. But it's looking like it's going to be a little warmer than normal for you guys. So this is looking pretty good for most of us. You know, you kind of see how it shifted, and we've got a lot more colder temperatures across over half of the country. So that looks pretty good. I like that. I'm looking forward to what that's going to be like in my area, as well as some of the places that I travel to. Now let's move on in to, you know, around the middle part of the winter. You know, we're talking mid-December time frame. Look here. All right, look at there. Below average. It's getting colder. Looks like looks like there's going to be a lot of fronts moving in around that time of the year, because you see how that dark blue is. That's showing that it's getting colder, and then the light blue shows, you know, it's still below average, but it's still going to be cold. So that below average pushing down from the Canada region, that's a good sign. That's going to push a lot of birds south. So, man, I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too. I hope these models get you excited like it does me. You know, for you guys out on the West Coast, man, it's just I'm sorry. You know, I hate it for you. It just don't look good for you know, for cold weather, and I hate that for you. And that don't mean you're not going to have a winter. It's just saying it's going to be an above average winter for you. You know, so I don't know what your average winter is like out on the West Coast. So, you know, just kind of take that in consideration. Whatever your normal winter is, looks like it's going to be a little bit warmer than what you are typically used to. But for us guys in the South, the Midwest, the Eastern Seaboard, man, this just looks really good for us, and it's about time. You know, we have been, for the last few years, last 4 or 5 years, man, it's just been rough. It's been some brutal winters, and by saying brutal, I mean brutal as in we haven't really experienced a winter. It's been unseasonably warm for the last few years down here. So we are due for some cold weather. That's a fact. Now look at this last slide. Well, this last slide here, as far as your temperature anomalies go, this will be late winter. What we're looking at here on this model. You see that below average, up high like that with the arrows coming down. That's a front, like a polar vortex type thing, pushing down. So, man, look at that. What you think about waterfowl migration and what temperatures like that is going to do. So, man, that is just that's exciting for me. I can't even tell you no lie. That's just extremely exciting for me. You know, because where we're at down here, it's been so hot. We're gonna have a lot of moisture. You know, because it was showing the possibility for a lot of precipitation, above average precipitation for the southern and the eastern seaboard. So you get temperatures like that, now you're talking about ice. So that's good, in my opinion. That's good for us because it's going to push some birds down here. And man, I'm looking forward to this. And once again, you know, you guys out on the West Coast, you poor fellows, I feel for you. I really do, because what you're experiencing, as far as your above average temperatures, that's what we've been stuck in for the last 4 to 5 years. So hey, I feel you. I feel your pain. Been there and done that, man. It's just kind of like a blow to the gut. I know. But now let's look at this overall for this upcoming winter. Let's look overall at what we're looking at. This is exciting. This is what really gets me pumped up here. You see this polar vortex across the upper Midwest and around the Michigan area, Iowa. We got polar vortex pushing down. You're looking at possible Arctic blast across Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Ohio, all those states. Look at that. That is just, man, I like that. Cold and snowy across the Rockies, you know, Colorado area, the eastern, well, the western half of Kansas, cold and snowy. Same way, for the western part of Oklahoma and the northern tip of Texas. Man, that's just, man, look at that. And right across the northern part of Alabama, Oklahoma, Arkansas, the southern portion of Missouri, southern portion of Tennessee, North Georgia, North South Carolina. And look at that, the winter battle zone. Now what that means is that you've got to take that combination of where it says for the deep south, very stormy. All right, well, that winter battle zone, that's going to be like you're pretty much your ice line, your kind of snow, sleet type area, you know, slushy weather. In my opinion, it's what I'm gathering from the video that I watched. That's going to be that where that ice meets moisture area, and it's just going to be nasty. You know, you're talking about you know, freezing rain, sleet, that type of thing. So that's kind of where that's gonna end, or where that line, that's kind of where that's gonna be. So for my area, it's looking like it's gonna be stormy, but with all this really cold area up above me for the winter battle zone, the Arctic blast, the polar vortex, it should push some birds on down here into my area. So if we're gonna have an above average precipitation in winter, that's really good. You know, it's going to raise some water levels. It's going to open more feeding opportunities up for the birds. So, and then they're going to be hopefully be coming on south to get out of this type of weather. So we'll see. You guys on the eastern seaboard, it says worst of winter for a lot of y'all. Pennsylvania, New York, all those places. Man, it's just, whoo. You guys, it might shape up to be really good for y'all. And then right there, really on the eastern seaboard, on the shoreline, huge snowstorms coming down. That could be huge for y'all. Pushing a lot of birds down, pushing a lot of birds to you. That could be really good. Now let's move west. Let's move over here on the western side of the Rockies. It's saying typical snow for the western side of Montana. What's that? Wyoming. You guys, it's saying typical snow. It kind of looks like it's going to be about a possible and average winter for y'all. But once again, we go back to you guys on the far west coast, California, Nevada, Arizona, Washington, Oregon. You guys, it's just saying super dry and above average storms. And you know, like I said earlier, man, I really hate that for you. But hey, the rest of the country has been there. The entire Midwest has been experiencing that as far as the super dry anomaly goes, and then above average storms. I know you guys in California, y'all have really caught it the last few years with a lot of rain and flooding issues, so I really hate to see that for you guys. But you know, this is all forecast. All of this stuff is forecast. It's not set in stone. This does not mean that any of this is going to happen. It's just a forecast going off of a El Nino winter pattern, that this is a possibility of what we will experience. And if we do experience this, then we're talking about this could, if we do experience these type of weather patterns with this El Nino this upcoming winter, we're talking about a possible really good migration for the Central Flyway, the Mississippi Flyway, and the Atlantic Flyway. And you guys on the west and the Pacific Flyway, I feel for you. That doesn't mean you're not going to get any birds. We're not saying that. It doesn't mean you're not going to get any migrations, because you are. But it just may not be as well as what the rest of the country and their flyways may experience. So anyway, I hope these weather forecasts prove to be true. It could be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it works out. And you know, this does prove to be a really accurate forecast, in my opinion. If you go back and do some research on some El Nino weather patterns and what you typically experience with an El Nino weather pattern, and it's very similar to this. So I think the possibilities for it are really good. I hope so. It'll be really great for us in the south, as well as for everybody else across the country who will be experiencing these cold weather fronts and weather forecast possibilities. So I'm looking forward to a cold winter. I've been hearing it since right after the early part of the spring. I've been hearing this talk. It's been constant from meteorologists and weather predictions, forecasting. They've been calling for us to have a really cold winter for the most part of the country due to this El Nino pattern. So all this talk didn't just start. It's been going on since the spring. So I hope it works out for us. Hope it works out for all of you and your flyways. I hope you experience a really good duck season. But it's looking good so far. All we can do is cross our fingers, hope and pray to the good Lord that He sends us some weather, some good cold weather. Those Arctic blasts and polar vortex would be really, really crucial and beneficial to really get the migration going. So all we can do is hope and pray and hope that these weather forecasts and anomalies are accurate. And that's all I got for you today, guys. So until next time, y'all bust them up.